Students may be away for the summer months right now, but doesn't mean we slow down here on LibertyFlames.com. Our whip around coverage continues as we wrap up spring practice with all of our teams. Here to give us an update on the men's soccer team is head coach Jeff Alder. And Coach, you come off a 6-3 Big South record a year ago. What were the off-season goals as you prepared for this spring?
I think for us to find some more consistency, to value the ball, to find a way to put our guys in some uncomfortable situations against some quality opponents and see if we were good enough, if our good was good enough. Last year, we lost 3 games in the conference. We lost 5 games in the regular season. 4 of the 5 games were the top 20 teams. And all 3 of those teams in the league that beat us at some point in time were in the top 25 last year. And I felt we were in each of those games, but I didn't feel we were quite mature enough in the closing moments or some of the critical moments to close those games out. But I thought this spring we found ourselves in a lot of those same situations, and we were able to turn the tides and find some great results with a bunch of young guys. So very proud of our guys and their willingness to say, okay, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, we're going to have a lot of 6 a.m. workouts, we're going to pay a price, but the reward will be greater than the sacrifice at the end of this thing.
Coach, we've been talking about your roster. The bulk of the players that contributed in 2014 are coming back for this fall. So how encouraging is it, and what is it like to go through a spring practice with most of the players that you will see coming back in the fall? Kind of rare, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We lost Scott Soteric, our goalkeeper, who's had an outstanding career, and he went to Spain this spring. He's trying to become a professional, finishing up his degree right now. David Maharaj, who was a utility guy for us, great character. We lost him. But the bulk of our guys were back, and we felt this spring, leadership's personified, and we felt a lot of guys continued to grow into some leadership positions. Tim Harbison, who's our captain, our rock, he's the guy that we rely on day in and day out to try and provide energy, enthusiasm, direction, and become an extension of our coaching staff. Did a great job. And then we've got guys like Tyler Bullock, Khalil Carl, a bunch of guys who've been around the block. Unfortunately for us, H.M. Wilson missed the spring, but it was for a great cause. He had an internship in France at a church. And so here's a guy who finished his degree early, will start graduate school in the fall. So he'll be back fresh, renewed, re-energized after missing the spring. But we got a lot of great performances from a lot of guys that we are going to rely on in the fall. And then it was good for Jeremy Lee because Scott graduated. Jeremy Lee, became the starter this spring. And it was good for him to play in 9 games, where again it's a live action, it's a lot of shots, a lot of crosses, a lot of chaos, and how did he respond? And so for us, it was good for him to get a lot of minutes in some big games this spring so he can build some confidence in himself.
You had 9 matches this spring. What'd you take away that can be a springboard through these couple of summer months?
I think the one word that we stamped on the spring was resiliency, because we found a way to go to Virginia Tech. We're down a goal. We found a way to get 2 second-half goals and beat them at Virginia Tech, which is a very, very hard place to play. We went to VCU, who's a top 20 program. Last year, I think they had the toughest schedule in the country, and year in and year out, they're an NCAA tournament team, and even there, we found ourselves down a goal in the second half. We scored twice in the second half, including Khalil Carl banging in a header with 7 seconds left to beat them 2-1. And so I think our guys, the resiliency, the resolve to overcome all obstacles was outstanding. And then we had some great performances from some young guys. Bay Kurtz, scored a fantastic goal at Virginia Tech to beat them. I really felt, Giovanni Chavez built a lot of confidence this spring with his performances. Blessing Tahuna's another guy who's a senior who's scored some game-winning goals for us last year. He scored, 4 fantastic goals this spring, and all of those goals were difference makers. And so I felt this spring we tested ourselves, where we were kind of refined as we went through the process. But at the end of the day, we only lost 1 game, and that was to a German team of college guys who were men among men who had come over to play a bunch of college teams, and that was our only loss. So I felt, winning 4 games, tying 4 games, and only losing once, our guys really displayed the character, the resolve, the resiliency that we need going forward in the fall.
Jeff, I think it's fun to talk to our fans, and not just here at Liberty, but across the country. Okay, graduation just happened. Students go away for the summer. People think, okay, campus just shuts down. And you told me, like most coaches, when you talk to your friends and family, okay, what are you going to do? Can I get away, go fishing? You're like, nope, I'm going to work harder than I did. a year ago. So the next couple of months, what's on the docket for you and your staff?
Well, you've always got one foot in the present, one foot in the future, and so for us, we're finishing up recruiting for 2015. We're putting the finishing touches on a recruiting class for 2016. So you're constantly moving forward, and so it's Groundhog Day. I mean, we're punching more hours here, right now, or just as many hours as you do fall, spring. So as a coach, we're 7-Eleven. We're open for business 24/7, and that's who we are. And so you're constantly working on the next group. You're trying to keep guys accountable during the summer months, and so for us, it's a never-ending process. But that's why we do what we do. We love just grinding and being in the battles daily, and we're excited to see what God's doing, obviously, on this mountain, and then we're also excited to see what he did through our group of men this spring. And we talked about it all spring long, and it's on the wall in our locker room, that Proverbs 27:17 is iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So we're trying to make each other better as our coaching staff, keep each other accountable, and then have our guys challenge each other during the summer to stay the course. Because again, what we do in the fall, the foundation's been laid this spring, and then the guys continue it this summer. And so really all the work to build a championship team into November is happening right now when nobody's sitting in those seats, nobody's watching.
Sounds like a great plan, Jeff. Look forward to the fall. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
It's head men's soccer coach Jeff Alder. Don't forget, for updates on the soccer program and all the teams here at Liberty, stay logged on to libertyflames.com.